Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Sing If You Can't Dance by Alexia Casale, narrated by Rayner. Before. Breathless anticipation. Whispers that keep rising until a chorus of voices say, shh. Runners bustle around the studio, shepherding competitors on and off set. Technicians glare as they maneuver their huge rolling cameras to get the best angle on each group. The air thrums with urgency and excitement and anxiety. Nearly our turn. Nearly our turn. Just a few minutes now. Keep it together. Keep the energy up. Harness it. Swallow down the swoop of sickness. It's just nerves. So many nerves I almost feel dizzy. But I'm not, of course. That feeling in my chest is tension. I'm fine. Everything is totally 100% fine. I'm not sick or injured, and I'm certainly not going to do a pip and start whinging on about fainting just because I'm a teeny tiny bit nervous. We're about to record our second round TV audition for a national dance competition. This is officially the biggest thing to happen to anyone in our whole school in the history of forever. So we're all allowed to be nervous. But as leader, I'm not going to be the one turning it into a drama. I've got this. Everything is totally, completely, absolutely fine. After all, we got full points in the first audition, sending us straight through. Now this, today, will determine whether we get onto the live shows. Just 1 year ago, there was no pop sync. Now look at us, standing on the verge of a future so big and amazing, I feel myself sway as if the ground's gone unsteady, sending me jostling into Maddie. She yelps as my sudden weight tips her into the wall. Shh, a harassed young man screeches as he hurries past with a roll of gaffer tape. Maddie wraps her arms around me as we giggle into each other's shoulders. Oh my God, she whispers in my ear. Oh my God, Fen. I know. I whisper back, so overwhelmed I can't think of a single thing to snark about. Ready, says the smiley assistant floor manager, whose job title seems to translate to person in charge on this side of the set. And here it is, our moment. 1 second we're walking forwards, then we're on stage, and Maddie and I are introducing Pop Sync. A moment later we're in position, and our music is on. And this is it. This is it. This is it. I want to remember every second, relish every breath. But I'm puffing for air in that irritating way I've been doing on and off this last month, as if I've somehow been getting less fit from all the rehearsing. And I know it's just nerves. Got to block it out, focus. But my muscles are pulling and aching too. Have been for weeks. But I can't fail now. Not when we're a minute away from the finish line. Just focus. My eyes blur on the lights. I tip off balance mid-spin, reeling, then correcting. Did anyone see? I'm at the back for this part, so maybe they didn't notice. But now my knee is doing that thing where it feels like it's bending in different directions above and below the joint, and I can't seem to get my foot down right, and the next spin is wrong too. I'm mucking it up. I'm mucking everything up. Don't panic. Just keep going. Only my knee is stabbing pain up and down my leg, and my flick kick is wrong. There's something wrong, and I really might throw up. Oh God. I'm actually going to throw up because my leg is wrong, and I can't breathe, and I'm going to throw up in front of all these cameras on stage on the best day of my life. One of the technicians has obviously realised because they're lowering the studio lights. Thank God for that. Maybe they'll fade us to dark and let us start again. The whole stage goes black. Raised voices all around. A hand on my arm. I need to say something. Keep the girls calm till they put the lights on again. Then someone pulls the floor away, and I fall and fall and fall. 18-ish months later. Before we start, I'm going to be totally upfront and tell you that I don't care whether you like me or not. That's your problem. Sure, We all fancy the idea of being the type of person everyone likes. The type of person who never has a bad word to say about anyone. The type of person who never has bad words said about them. But how blah would you have to be to pull that off? Honestly, that sort of person sounds like an idiot to me. I'm not an idiot. I'm a hedgehog. I've got some nice bits, but mostly I've got spikes. And sarcasm, which isn't something hedgehogs are known for. But there you go. Metaphors are either clichés, or they fall apart the minute you examine them. For instance, I'm pretty sure I'm softer on the outside than on the inside. It's a pity that you're in my head, but I'm not going to nice it up for you. You can call me Ven. It's short for Venetia, pronounced Ven-E-Sha. But if you call me that, you'll regret it. You're probably wondering why you're here, but I don't care about that either. Stay, go, your choice. I'd stick around out of interest, but then I'm smart, and you might be dumb as a rock. First thing to think about if you're sticking around is my Year 12 spring term Monday to-do list. Item 1. Get to school as late as possible, without officially being late, in order to avoid the temptation to damage Abigail Moss. Winsome purveyor of goodness, light, and purest spite. It's delaying the inevitable, but the anticipation makes it all worthwhile. Item 2. Oh, for God's sake! That's my parking spot! Yes, literally. Not only does it have the disability symbol on it, but my name to boot. If you're wondering why I'm driving at 16, it's legal in the UK when you've got a serious enough mobility impairment. So let's keep our focus on the person actually breaking the law, and the rules of basic decency. I back up, then angle in so I can peek at the woman's dashboard. Not a blue badge in sight. Well then, excuse me, or don't, while I make judicious use of the horn, and the finger, and the roll down the window and shout obscenities. And here comes Miss Walker, head of sixth form, just as I'm really getting into the swearing. My life is complete, with detention as the cherry on top. Item 2. Figure out a dastardly plan to make whichever teacher is running detention at least twice as miserable as I am. I'll probably just keep up a steady stream of impolite conversation. That usually does it for most people. Ms. Walker's telling off means the pair of us miss assembly. I'm devastated. I only get 1 day's detention, and I'm allowed to choose the day. Even before I do the casual lean against the car door, then the I'm just going to slowly slide down into a heap. Before the disaster with PopSync, Ms. Walker would have told me to stop being a drama queen. Now she immediately ushers me inside and offers to call an ambulance. The standard, "This school is not inviting a lawsuit, we did everything strictly by the book," response. I decline, in a show of womanful stoicism. To be fair, I'm not putting it on. But that's not to say I'm not happy to make the most of it. I really don't know what else we can do, then, to avoid these regrettable disturbances over your parking situation. I understand it's very provoking, but as we've now added a named signpost, I can't see what other options there are. We do send all our parents regular bulletins about parking issues. I zone out. I'm only in trouble because of the number of dimwits who think there's nothing wrong with parking in disabled spots, provided they're in a rush, and it's just for a second. Because yeah, with 10 of you doing that one after another, of course that won't be a problem. And then there are the ones who think that if they're helping a disabled person run an errand, they're entitled to a little extra convenience. Just give me a license to savage, and I'll extra convenience them into needing their own disabled parking. Then we'll see how they feel about it. Ms. Walker is still mid-hand-wringing, a la, "It's not our responsibility to ensure you can actually park at school." So I do the casual leaning on the wall thing again, and Miss Walker takes the hint. "Shall I walk with you to class?" she asks. "Nope, but I'd better go so I can sit down. Just make sure you report for detention when you're able, or..." Under the circumstances, She rubs at her forehead. I slump a bit more and work on looking pale. Let's forget it this one last time. But please don't take this to mean that we're condoning your behaviour. I resist the urge to perk up, then slip off to class. I must be pulling one of my most unpleasant faces and slopping along particularly badly, as it's one of those rare days when people coming the other way actually move for me. Why is it that those in a rush are usually so unwilling to skirt around people in the slow-moving, obviously mobility-impaired category? Today, I'm both glad and frustrated to be given a wide berth. I would dearly like to gift at least one idiot an accidental smack with my stick. And lo, destiny has answered my prayer. For who is leaning in the maths classroom doorway but my favourite person in the world, Abigail Moss? Now, if I can just time this so my stick goes down plunk, square in the middle of her foot without it looking entirely intentional.
Venetia, darling, are you all right? You're looking shocking,
she says, all wide-eyed innocence. My moment for accidentally damaging her is gone. Fate still hates me. Get out of the way, I snap. Although she is purposefully blocking the door and making a patronizing pity face, she draws back as if I'm the one being nasty for no reason.
I'm just offering you a hand, Venetia.
I'll take your hand when you're happy for me to detach it from the rest of you first, I gasp, leaning against the wall as frustration and tiredness set the corridor rippling under my feet. Abigail makes her face go all hurt, though her snake eyes tell the usual story of delight. Then one of her pack draws her away, making comforting noises, and I manage to slip past. My classmates look away as I head for the first empty seat. It's messy going, and I know I'm clenching my jaw and my eyes are glazed. But the alternative is a nosedive into the carpet. And if you've seen my school's carpets, you'll understand why this is to be avoided at all costs. When I get to the chair, I tuck the strap of my bag around the back, brace my hands on the desk, and let myself drop, slowly crumpling forwards till I can rest the side of my face against the slightly sticky surface of the table. Someone comes up, as someone always does, and starts to fuss at me. I raise a slightly shaking hand and present them with the "leave me alone" finger. There is a wash of tutting. Then the gossip resumes over my head. When I hear the change in sound that signals the arrival of Mr. Singh, I slowly sit myself up and try to drag my hair into some semblance of "that'll do." Propping my chin on my hand, I take a stab at gazing soulfully out of the window. I'm not sure I'm doing it right. I still feel pissed off rather than wistful. Just past the school wall, a boy is getting out of a car. A tall, slim boy with long black wavy hair. I don't recognize him, and I know I'd have remembered, even if we'd just passed in the corridor. But second week of spring term seems a weird time to join a new school. The boy raises a hand to run it through his curls, then suddenly pulls the hand away and hunches his shoulders forwards, letting his hair fall back over his face. It half makes me want to look closer, and half makes me feel I should look away. Before I can decide, there's a noise by my shoulder. I look up to find that Mr. Singh is not amused by my staring soulfully out of the window efforts. Monday to-do list. Item 3. Find a way to make it Tuesday already. Lunchtime. Will this day ever end? Maddie spots me the minute I slope into the cafeteria for lunch.
"Ven!"
she screams. But her hug is tentative and careful. Her eyes more on my stick than on my clothes or shoes, even though I'm wearing the most gorgeous pair of brand new maroon leather ankle boots, low slung with a triple set of silver buckles. If I'm going to slop about disjointing every 2 secs, I am definitely going to do it with style. Maddie doesn't even notice, too busy ordering the rest of Pop's Sync to make room for me. I get that she's literally demonstrating that I still have a place at their table, but it's a pity place. "How's training going?" I ask, because it would be weird if I didn't. There of course follows a wave of noise as they all talk over each other. It's wonderful, everything rushing back, but only for about 5 seconds. There is no more dancing for me. There's just the memory of how it felt when my body still did everything I wanted it to. And I'm not even an adult yet. I'm not ready to lower my expectations and accept that I can't do all the things I used to. I haven't had enough time. And I know everyone must feel like that when the years start catching up with them. But I've hardly started, and there's already so much that's over. The cafeteria glazes with tears, and I can feel the others going silent one by one. A hand comes down on my shoulder, but so gently, too gently.
"Oh, Finn,"
Maddie says. I run away. Well, obviously I don't, but I get the hell out of there as fast as I can, and I don't care how messy it is or how stupid I look. If that isn't bad enough, when Maddie tries to follow, the words, "Why do you always make everything worse?" tumble out of my mouth. Then I wrench away, pushing through the doors and out into the corridor. It's a lie, or part of a lie. It's not her fault any more than it's mine. But neither of us knows what to do, so although we don't mean to, we keep tearing strips of each other, trying to hold on when everything is pulling us apart. We were meant to follow our dance dream together. And though I want to support her, of course I want to support her. It's like lemon juice on a fresh cut. With all that roaring about in my head, I'm not looking where I'm going. I get about 15 steps before I walk straight into someone, knocking us both to our knees, my stick clattering to the ground. I look up, eyes blurred with tears, face probably distorted with grief and fury, and the realization that I've dislocated my hip. And there is the boy with the raven tresses. Only I see now why he aborted that gesture to sweep them romantically back when he was getting out of the car. Half his face is spiderwebbed with scar tissue. His eyes are wide and startled, then full of horror and shame. He's wrenching up and away before I have time to blink, my brain too busy going, "Wow, you are absolutely gorgeous." You know the type of beauty I mean. The type that catches your breath, tugs you forwards, and, for a whiteout second, takes away all capacity for thought. When they say truth is beauty, I think this is what they mean. The boy isn't beautiful because of the scars, or in spite of them. He just is. But obviously, he's only beautiful looking, because he ups and leaves me sprawled on the floor. And I know I was the one who knocked into him, but hello, nothing wrong with your legs. So although he's utterly gorgeous, unfortunately he's also a ginormous jerk. My internal grousing is interrupted by someone hefting me to my feet without even asking if I want help. Of course, this is not helpful at all, and hurts even more than being sprawled on the floor. But custom dictates you acknowledge those who assist you, so I turn with a smile. If you think I'm about to say thank you, you've clearly not been paying attention. 10 minutes later. To-do list. Item 4. Eviscerate fellow student. Done. Item 5. Undislocate hip. Medically speaking, a dislocation is when you completely separate a bone from its corresponding joint. For example, when the top of your humerus ends up completely outside your shoulder socket. A subluxation is when you displace a bone from its joint without separating it completely. Officially, I don't dislocate very often, but here's the thing. If you have to manually put a bone back into its joint because it's so far out it won't go by itself, and you don't have any choice but to figure it out because it's so agonizing you just can't wait. If that happens, and someone tells you you've only subluxed yourself, and it's not really a dislocation, you will understand one of the many reasons patients with chronic conditions hate most doctors with an exquisite passion. So, for the record, when I have to ball my fist into my butt cheek and lever my leg up, round and over so that, insert dull, echoing crunch, my femur resettles itself properly in my hip joint because half of it had fallen out, I'm going to be calling it a dislocation. Also, for the record, you can't do this lying on the floor. At least I can't. I need a chair so I can lower my leg beyond the horizontal. It's the only way to lever such a large bone back into such a stubborn joint. And if I'm in a long, flat corridor, there is one option. Get back on my feet and walk with my leg half in and half out of my hip to the nearest chair, then fall into it as best I can. Lowering myself carefully is not possible. Then I put myself back together. 15 minutes and a lot of painkillers later, I still have to go to class. I slop in, sweaty and miserable, with a mumbled, "Sorry, I had to undislocate myself." Because one of the great joys of all this is having to explain things publicly that are nobody's bloody business. Then I look up, and lo, he of the raven locks is scrunched into a chair in the far corner, peering up through his curls. For a moment, I forget why he's all, "I'm going to hide behind my hair," because he is so truly drop-dead gorgeous. Then I remember that, people feel shy about scars, and sticks, and slopping and sloping instead of walking. It's not that it's objectively ugly, but it's different. And sometimes the way people look at me makes me feel ugly. Sometimes I feel ugly even when no one's looking, because my body used to be different, and I liked how it was, not how it is. And yet I didn't know the boy before the scars, and I think he's beautiful. If that's possible, maybe one day a stranger will look at me and think I'm beautiful. No ifs, no buts, no in spite of, no logic or reason at all, just instinctive reaction, the way I see the boy with the black curls. And he may be a jerk, but I should probably tell him what I see, because he clearly doesn't think anyone ever will look at him like that. I'd want to know if it were me. But of course just the thought of saying it out loud makes me shudder. There's quite enough humiliation in my life already, thanks. Now this boy's giving me a headache, and we haven't even spoken yet. And that's before factoring in 90 minutes of English Lit with Abigail Moss. Is there no end to the varieties of pain this day is determined to inflict? Apparently not, because when I let myself in the front door after school, it's to the sound of very bad music belting out of the sound system. It zings straight into my brain, an offbeat to the pain already pulsing there. "Not a chance," I call, hooking the strap of my bag over the post at the bottom of the stairs, so I don't need to bend down to pick it up later. Heading into the kitchen, I find Dad has the table spread with paperwork. Mum wafts in behind me, shutting the music off. "Really? No good?" she asks, pulling out the pen pinning her curls back and using it to make a note on the list clipped to the fridge. "I've been listening for hours," she whines. "I can't even tell anymore. I've got such a headache." And yes, I know. Why didn't I take a break? I just kept thinking the next thing was bound to be decent. But apparently the law of averages doesn't apply in the music industry. She taps pause on the iPad, then collapses over the kitchen table with a groan. "Oh, best beloved daughter, please make me a nice cup of tea." The joys of getting showered with music demos. "I thought that was a sign of success," I say, as I start fetching down mugs. "Cheeky." She reaches out to tug at one of my curls. "Don't you go parroting my positive thinking back at me when I'm nose-deep in demo hell." So, my family runs an annual 3-day music festival at the start of the summer. And when I say family, I don't just mean my parents. Aunt Ginny, Aunt Sarah, Uncle Jeff, and most of the rest of our family, blood and chosen, have now been roped in, since it's pretty hard to dodge the call of duty with a motto like, putting the family into family festival. It's been going 12 years now, so all the lifetime I remember, and has finally stopped losing money and started making it. There's a tipping point with these things, and we've reached it with strong word of mouth and a growing group of loyal visitors who come every year, because Mum has a knack for picking acts who are about to be big and getting them to commit to the festival before they're too big for us to afford. The downside is that we listen to a lot of unmitigated shite in the process. When Mum says, "Then, there's one I want to play you a clip of, just to check I'm not missing something," years of experience has me replying, "You only say that when they're crap, but you think they're my generation's version of cool. I'm dealing with enough pain and torment already." Only it comes out weird, because I need to keep stopping to breathe, and the words seem to be going squashy in my mouth, and... The kitchen has gone dim and distant, and I'm losing track of which way is up. I reach out to grab hold of the counter. It's fine. I've got this. I haven't got this. There are exciting varieties of fainting you've probably never heard of, just like dislocations versus subluxations. If you're thinking, "Oh no, not more medical information," I have 3 words for you. Get over it. If you don't want to hear it, think about how much I fancy living it. The official term is syncope with an E, though I always want to call it syncope with a Y to jazz it up. Yes, that was a bad music pun. My special brand of syncope is vasovagal syncope, which basically means fainting caused by blood pressure issues. My blood pressure has this delightful habit of plunging as if I've just suffered catastrophic blood loss. Unsurprisingly, this renders me unconscious. I'm getting so much practice with passing out that sometimes I can see it coming and lie down before it happens. Other times I manage a controlled fall, and sometimes I wait just a little bit too long, in case I'm not actually going to pass out after all. Only I am, and it's too late to do anything about it. Today, I demonstrate my excellent technique at slowly sliding down the furniture. Sloop, gloop, splat. A moment later, I'm scrunched down between the chair and the counter, and Mum is patting my shoulder as I breathe nice, deep breaths. "Do you want to crawl to the sofa?" Mum asks. "What's going on?" Dad calls. "It's fine," I croak. "I'll be up in a minute." "I'm making the tea," Mum says. "Why don't you go and book yourself into that chronic pain group at the community centre that you promised me you'd try?" Blackmailer, I grumble. Then I heave a sigh. Fine, I'll book in. And I'll make tea too, because I'm that devoted. It's a bit feeble, even to my own ears. And not just because I'm absolutely looking for an excuse to forget about the group. If I try to be self-sufficient right now, it's likely to end in a second gloop down the furniture. When I get stubborn, I end up doing a lot of glooping before conceding defeat. I can imagine how surprised you are to hear this. But here's the thing. It's important not to always give up. Sometimes I keep pushing just to know I'm not quitting. If that's the best I can do, then I'm bloody well going to do it. Sloop, gloop, splat and all. Dancing is over, but my life isn't. Everyone says I need a little time to figure out my new goal so I can feel like I'm headed somewhere again. And maybe they're right. But what if the best bit of my life is already over, and the rest is making do with what I have left? The next day. Tuesday to-do list. Item 1. Come up with a new life goal and detailed plan. No probs. Item 2. Don't stare at the boy with the raven tresses. Item 3. Brainwash Abigail Moss through hypnotism/subliminal messages to go queasy at the sight of me so she has to change schools. Won't work. Item 4. Brainwashing requires a brain.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?